Let's see. Alright, I think everything's open now. Yep, up on Twitch and YouTube, so I think we are good there. And we can go ahead and get the game started.
Drivers, to your cars.
Alright, so we are at Kansas. So here we go. Let's see. Yep. Alright, so we are at Kansas. So it'll be 81 laps here. Kansas, let's see. So you got 81 laps. If you haven't seen the starting grid, here's the starting grid with Ward, Adams, Prescott, Gonzalez, and Grubb, top 5. And then with the bottom ones, basically McFadden was the, basically it's either a new driver or it is whoever is last place of the player cars. They will come in and be last place. So I think we had like 4 or 5 cars that didn't qualify, but yeah, so here that is. Let's see. So we can go ahead and get started. So let's go accelerate.
Drivers, start your engines.
And get to the leaders. And let's hope nobody blows an engine and somebody's not moving. We have to do a quick restart if somebody blew an engine. Yep, somebody blew an engine, so we will do a quick restart. And this time hopefully nobody blows an engine.
Drivers, to your cars.
Drivers, start your engines.
Let's see. And let's try this again. We don't want anybody blowing an engine on the pace lap. But as soon as we go green, then it's all free game. So far, nothing. And I think we are good to go. So we will go green flag this lap, or I guess this half lap, with Ward and Adams both on, both in the front. We can see who gets a good jump and see who behind them is going to be able to help them out. And we are only have a few races left as they take the green flag. Now here at Kansas, there is a huge bunch up at the beginning of the race, which can cause a ton of issues for a lot of drivers. As 4 wide is definitely very common, 3 wide is very, very common, but for the most part, most drivers can drive 3 wide here and at Kansas. So there is some bunching going on. Looks like Adams may have tapped the wall as he is now causing a ton of issues as he slowed down a ton. And he's just dropping positions. That's definitely not what we want to see. So we do go 4 wide a little bit as we see 12. I think that is Bishop thinking about going 4 wide, but decides to back off at least for a little while. As we do see Adams in that 23 car. Looks like he may be back up to speed, but oh, he taps the wall again a little bit. He just cannot get to the inside. But it looks like everybody was able to stay safe, at least for now. As we take a look at Adams dropping all the way back to 18th position from first place. There is a caution. We can take a look, see what's going on here. Looks like Parker may have tapped the wall a little bit. So we take a look. It looks like Guerrero in that 18 is down low. He may be going to the pits, so he may not have caused any issues. Looks like 4 wide a little bit. Actually, looks like there was a couple of people. Yeah, it's that 18. Looks like we can go ahead and rewind a little bit to see what happened here. So it looks like about 17th position. Guerrero kind of gets into the wall, and then the 3 wide just tries to pass him with the 00 of Custer, Williams in the 5, and the 84 of Emerson. It looks like they all missed those, and Jarvie in that 9 is just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Though from what it looks like, they were able to, for the most part, save it. As we do watch this in slow motion to see what's going on. Jarvie is actually spinning a lot more. And it looks like the 56, I believe that's Davis, actually helped him get back straight. Though Custer in that 0 doesn't look like he's going to be able to, or doesn't look like he's going to be able to keep everything straight as he's still spinning out. And then as we come back to look at Guerrero in the 18, he's still going too fast and can't slow down enough and slides back into the track. And yeah, Parker in that 38 just really had nowhere to go, hits the side of him, and just goes straight up into the 16 of, I think, Hannah, the 24 of Reeves, I believe, all into the wall. Definitely Parker in that 18, or in that 38, got the most out of it as he went almost head first into the wall. And then, of course, the 18 of Guerrero got a bit of damage, as well as Hannah in the 16. So we take a look at some of the rest of the cars going back. Looks like Custer is able to get going again. As we see all the cars racing back to the line. There's huge amounts of packing going on. As we fast forward to see, looks like everybody catches the caution, and it looks like for the most part there's not going to be any shenanigans going on in the as they're sorting themselves out. Again, Adams looks like he dropped back from basically 2nd place to 18th position. He is probably extremely glad that they are able to, or that there was a caution flag, so he can maybe fix up some of the stuff that happened. I think he tapped the wall a couple of times. So we take a look. Looks like I think Bowers, Haas, and Paul have all decided not to take a pit stop here. I don't believe there's any lap down traffic, as we are on lap 4 of 81. So I know in Kansas there is a ton of like packing, and then a large amount of I think there's usually a big one towards the beginning of the race. That really wasn't a big one per se, but looks like we got lucky in this race and didn't have too big of a crash, though it really depends on this restart and who gets a good run and who doesn't. So we go ahead and take a look at the race current standings. Yeah, it looks like Walker Jr. Ends up blowing an engine. I didn't think he was really involved in that crash. Let's see. Let's go ahead and actually take a look, see what happened. He may have blown an engine trying to get out of the way, but we'll definitely take a look to see what happens to him. mean, so far everything is good. It looks like maybe something happened in the pits. Let's see what happens. As of right now, he's not smoking. And right there, looks like... So either Williams in that 5 tapped him, or didn't tap anywhere in the, or she didn't tap him anywhere in the front. But it looks like maybe he just blew an engine while getting into the pits. So it's definitely not what the Walker Racing wanted to see here at Kansas, losing one of only 2 cars in this race. But yeah, blowing an engine, getting into the pit, or getting into the pits, definitely not what he wanted to see. As we do, it looks like we have somebody going into the pits. As we see Bowers taking the green flag, leading a couple of laps. Though as we see, none of these 3 cars went into the pits. Paul, Haas, and the 8, and then the 05 of Bowers. Bowers did get a good run, but of course you see Ward, 0 of Thorne, and then 17 of Mass getting a great run on these 2 cars that didn't pit. And then of course we see Ward catching up to the 05 of Bowers. Yeah, definitely what we're going to see. And then looks like maybe Rollins is in the pits. No, Grubb is in the pits. So something that his team definitely didn't want to see is, it does look like a couple cars did get pushed into the wall. I know going 3 wide entering into that corner does sometimes push a car into the wall, as we do see Ward end up passing the 05 of Bowers. And then here comes a lot more cars. So that decision not to pit at all during that caution is maybe coming back to bite them, as we do see Mass in the 17 with the 51 of Barker looking like they're going to pass Ward, who left his inside completely open. We'll see if his teammate in that 6 car decides to help him out, although they almost do touch exiting that corner, so that could have definitely been very bad for pitch racing, having 2 of their cars touching each other. But it still looks like Ward's still stuck on that outside line, not working for him, as we see if Pitch is going to be able to pass this 51 of Barker's. He does see if he may have tried to bump him out of the way, but is not able to, at least not that time. As it looks like Mass may have almost touched that wall, had to slow down a ton, which is letting Pitch and Barker in the 51 just basically drive right past him. We take a look at some of the racing going on in the back. There's about to be 3 wide going into the turn, as Saunders in the 21 getting pushed to the outside. As McFadden and Taylor coming in. As they touched, and there goes the 35. And we'll see if the 35 is able to get out of the way. Is he still slow in the track? As McFadden just takes that turn and just taps Tyler. Does look like he's going to get out or get going, no issues. As we see everybody racing to the line to try to make up a position. It does look like Mass was able to stop the bleeding, may have tapped the wall or went into the corner a little too hot and had to slow down. He was leading. As we do see Rollins and Barker, 2 teammates in the front. I actually went through these guys and took some of the driver points away from them just to make it so that they stop winning the races. Looks like Grubb is one that's not doing the greatest today. But for the most part, the issue with McFadden and Taylor didn't cause too many issues. I think maybe they just touched the wall a bit, but other than that, no big issues. It looks like it was 3 wide with Sanders in the top, and then McFadden at 35 just gets a great run on the 57 of Tyler. And yeah, Tyler was just, his nose was right below the 21 of Sanders, and there was just nowhere for him to go. He ends up touching Sanders, but Sanders is able to keep it together as the 57 and 35 of McFadden ends up touching. I mean, it looks like the 57 got a little bit of damage to the side, maybe touching the wall, and maybe the 35 got some damage on its on his left side. But it looks like for the most part he was able to keep his car out of the wall to at least get less damage. As we try to fast forward to back to live, because it looks like for the most part all the cars went into the pits this time. Looks like Pitch will come out in the lead with his teammate right behind him. And then we do have Grubb in that 15, trying to get his lap back. So we turn on. So there's a couple of cars a lap down to 15 and 00. So we can see what type of run the 6 and 10 can get, see if they can pull away from 84. 84 Emerson, definitely need to see a good showing from him. He has not had the greatest seasons yet, but a good finish here and a good finish in the last couple of races, as well as in the playoffs, could set him up for a good run next season. As it does look like, yeah, the Grubb really is not the fastest car. As it looks like Grubb just is not keeping speed and pushing cars extremely high and low, trying to get out of the, or get around him. We'll definitely see how long the league lets him stay out into the track, as he's just slowing everybody down. As the 88, I think that's Vega. Yeah, Vega almost touches him. It does look like Grubb semi-staying, trying to get out of the way, staying high, or in that turn. Though he is definitely not keeping speed at all. He's going 176, which just does not look like he is keeping speed up at all, as cars are just flying past him. Here's Weber in the 33 and then 22 of Martinez. So as long as everybody can see him as they're trying to pass him, I don't think there's going to be too much of an issue. There could be an issue if a 3-wide car or multiple 2-wide cars try to get past him, and if he tries to dive down to get into the pits, because he's definitely not keeping speed. As he continues to fall back, you may definitely have to keep an eye on him, see if he gets out of the way. So here he comes to a small group of cars, actually 35 and 54, who had that earlier issue. So it does look like they may be able to pass him with no crazy issues. So the 2 of Kim definitely getting very close to him, maybe showing, they actually, the 3 of Walker Sr. and the 15 sandwich Kim in that 2 car. It does look like the Kim in that 2 car was trying to touch. Tyler almost got into another altercation with Mass in that 8. But yeah, again, it looked like that 2 of Kim was trying to just tap the 15 of Grubb out of the way just to show his displeasure, but it didn't look like it was happening, and then ends up getting sandwiched in between 2 cars as inside car ends up taking taking a lane a little bit too high. racing going on here in the 30s, trying to get a top 30 for most of these cars would be a good finish for them. You see, again, to Kim, I know he is still a pretty green driver. He's not one of the top drivers, but he also has not raced too much here in ARCA, so he does take that turn very wide and ends up tapping into the wall a little bit. Good thing there was no too many cars going, as he takes that turn way just too high. So this track can be extremely unforgiving if you go into the turn with too much speed. You are definitely going to probably tap the walls. We do see Martinez at 22 also tap the wall slightly. But yeah, if you're going in the turn at least 1 or 2 wide, should be no issues. It's really only an issue if you go too high or going 3 wide or too hot, as we do see Emerson leading. It looks like he will lead his first lap, at least as far as I know, his first lap of his career, though. And it does look like Rollins, I believe that's Rollins, yes, in the 45 is going to end up passing him, but he does lead at least 1 lap. So that is definitely good showing for him to see if he can get a good finish the end of the season for next year. But we'll definitely see what happens to him, as he just has not had a good year in the 84. Oh, as we do have a caution. Oh, it looks like, again, McFadden just not having a good day. But it looks like his day is probably done. Oh, as he does go flipping. So multiple cars actually go flipping, as actually didn't even start by him. It's like maybe Torres. But we will definitely have to see, as this is actually a top 10 battle going on. It looks like caused an issue. Yeah, it just looks like Martin in that 72 and Thorne 0 get into it. The 29, Torres, just nowhere to go. Gets pushed into the wall and then starts turning. Definitely not what he wanted to see, turning right in the middle of the pack and just slides up. Though it does look like a lot of cars are going to get past him. Though I think there's another issue in front of him. But we'll see what happens to Torres. He continues to spin. Yeah, we do see the 35 McFadden slide past. And it does look like... Oh, Torres comes... Oh, there's a couple of cars that almost slam into him. Looks like, yeah, Thorne in the 0 car. Yeah, got pushed into the infield as she was coming back in, just hits 17 of mass and just puts herself into the wall. And then she just gets pushed back, or the wall just pushes her back into the middle of the pack, slams hard into Brooks in that 80, as the 80 just goes over and over. And then there's his teammate in the 20. I think Wayne King also getting a hard hit, as we see just cars. Yeah, there's just this big pack of cars coming and really nowhere to go. It does look like the cars up high are able to slow or able to get going again. It does look like the 8 get hit hard in the back. But yeah, the 80 looks like he's on his top, as we do see the 18 start to spin. We take a look. We'll see if that is it. Oh yeah, and there we go. Yeah, this looks like a 56 of Davis ends up slowing down, and then the 35 McFadden nowhere to go, and then of course the Where's that 52 of Jeweth? Oh, and that was a hard hit by Williams into the side of the 35 McFadden. I mean, at least that was not a driver's side hit, but that was extremely hard. I mean, he was on all four wheels. She slams into him, and he just goes over. So that was definitely a hard hit. We see, I mean, he is still driving, so he is okay. We kind of rewind a bit. So we see if we can take a look at Brooks. So we take a, I guess, a cockpit view, see what he sees. See what happens. Yeah, the car just turned right in front of him and he had nowhere to go. So it didn't look like it was actually too bad of a crash. So we actually take a look, take a roof look here. Yeah, Adams just or McFadden just gets hard hit into the side. You see some engine trouble. You see smoke pouring out of his engine. His day's probably done, but at least he is probably good to go. Away. So we have a few cars still racing back to the line. Does not look like there's any other issues going on. Maybe some issues here. Oh, a few cars slamming. It looks like Thorne in that zero just didn't see that all these cars were slowing down. There's definitely something going on right there with Thorne. In the zero front, heavy front end damage. He slammed that hard into the back of one of those cars in that pack. As everybody's running into the pits now, just trying to get some fresh tires. We see a huge group here. These guys are just trying to figure out where to go. Some cars want to go into the pits, some can't go into the pits, as this is going to probably cause some issues for many of these drivers, because they are trying to get into the pits. Looks like for the most part they've sorted themselves out. So a ton of action here at Kansas. Oh, Torres almost slams hard into, I think, green. Looks like for the most part, no crazy issues during the pits. Though it does look like Grubb in that 15 has some front end damage, so he was having some issues for the most part this race anyway. But it looks like Emerson is leading again. Yes, he is. As we take a look again at these, I guess, current standings, we do have a ton of cars out. As we do see Jay King is out in the 11. Actually, didn't see too much what happened to him. Mass done for the day. Jarvie, Guerrero, Williams, Thorne, Juith, Brooks, McFadden, Custer, Walker Jr., Parker all done, but it looks like a ton of cars from that second a big one are done for the day. As we do see Reeves at the end of this pack going on. We see 24. I'll love to see where he ends up. Where is he? 24th position. He's 33rd. So it looks like we will see if he's going to be able to get stay in front of the leaders, as this will be the last caution flag. So that's definitely good for him. So as the lap cars are starting to come towards the front. It's like we have 2 of Kim, the 29 of Torres, and the 51 of Grubb. 51 looks like he still has some front end damage, as the leader is 84 right now. So this looks like the 24 is going to start in front of him and see if he's going to be able to pull away from that 84. The 84 hasn't had the greatest starts. Green flag. This is his second time leading a green flag start, so we'll see what happens here. We do have that Bowers of that 05 right behind him. And in that or did looks like Barker actually is having some issues in that 51. So as we go to the green flag, we see if the 24 Reeves can stay in front of him. Yeah, Barker looks like that 51 just falls him almost immediately back and is causing issues already. Yeah, as the 51 just is not able to keep speed at all. Worse than the 15. As even that 18 car with heavy front end damage, just trying to get past him, almost clips the front of Weber in that 33. Still, that's actually a car crash, right? Or is a spin out. Torres again gets clipped. This time taking Reeves. Oh, and there's actually a little pile up going on here. Definitely a ton of issues going on here at Kansas. Definitely a high-speed track. As Jay King speeding up, almost tapping into a couple of people. So we turn around and see what happens. I should go see Torres. He was the first issue that I saw. But again, Torres looks like he has turned around again. Yeah, this is up towards the front of the pack, and he just 4 wide with that 6 at the bottom, just pushes everybody up. Yeah, Torres Reeves nowhere to go, and is spinning in front of the leaders. Definitely not something that a lot of these guys wanted to see, as he had Jay King in that 11, just heavy front end damage. Cars spinning, trying to get out of the way. Emerson just nowhere to go, just slamming hard on his brakes, but does stay. Is he going to stay out of the way? Yeah, there's where Mass in that 17 gets. Yeah, 17 and 11. I didn't see this where they tapped him. Is right there. Look at that. Oh, but he does not stay safe there, as he does get hard damage in the back from the 5 of Williams. And then, of course, Jarvie slams hard in the back of her, hard into the wall, and starting to slide back into the pack. So maybe clips Weber a little bit, and then Srivastava in that 7, who already had front end damage, hard into the front of him. Prescott, 19, nowhere to go. Guerrero, nowhere to go. The 51, nowhere to go. Mass in, or I think Haas in that 8 nowhere to go. It looks like the 20, is that 54 cargo? Like nowhere for any of these cars to go. You know, Barker in that 51 getting some front end damage. As he had Jarvie in that 9. Just hard hit there. And it looks like the safe guy right here, Walker Sr., having to pit during that green flag. Definitely saw some, definitely was probably going to make it out of this the best. Not going to go like 3 or 4 laps down, instead maybe only go down 1 lap. Those we do see Bishop leading, deciding not to take a pit stop as cars are trying to catch back up, as well as a bunch of them going into the pits. So it does look like actually a decent number are not going to go into the pits. Yeah, as we see, a pretty large group of cars not pitting. Though they did just go for a green flag, or they did just do a pit stop in that last issue. But there's definitely been a ton of action here today. Definitely more action than in my testing, because I tested. There was usually one, either a big one or a semi-large one at the start of the race. But then after that, for the most part, cars just stretched out, and there was no issues really for 10-15 laps, usually until the first round of pits went on, and then that's when a car usually clipped somebody. But yeah, definitely something we did not expect to see. An extremely eventful race. You see Cargo looks like he's coming back out. Barker's coming back out. So a decent number of cars are coming back out, trying to, even if they do have heavy damage, if they can, stay out of trouble, they can make up a couple of laps. As we take a look, looks like King Mass, Jarvie, Guerrero, Williams, Thorne. I think all those were in this crash. So we go back to the front. Take a look at Bishop. Bishop in first. Right there, Bishop's saying he is in 4th place, but I will assume that the lap, this one right here, is correct. So Bishop leading the race in this 12 car. Definitely good to see him leading a lap, or leading a couple laps. I think he's had a couple of, or I think he's had a bad start to the season. I think he's had a few decent finishes, has not been able to get past or get above the curve and win a race, but he has definitely had a few good starts, or a few good finishes, a few good starts, and then a couple of bad finishes, as we do see the lapped cars catching up. Yeah, the 15, we definitely know he does not keep speed. The 51 is the car right now that is actually going extremely slow. As we take a look at the standings here, as we do get ready to go back green. We will see what the 12 of Bishop can do. Is he able to keep in front of the 6, or he's going to get caught behind some of these lapped cars? I believe he should be able to get past this 15 pretty easily. I don't think the 15 can keep speed. The 3 might be able to. I don't know what Walker Sr. was doing in the pits. As far as I know, he's still able to keep speed. The 24 is able to keep speed, but yeah, the 15 and 51 really are not able to keep speed. as we get the green flag. We'll see if the pits crew of the 15 was able to do it, and he did not. As he just turned, actually he turns into the middle of the pack and just drives into the center of the track, not trying to get to the bases. We do have 4 wide going on behind them. This is not where people want to be right now. I mean, the league definitely has to get these guys off the track, or there's going to be even larger issues. Right now, there's 2 of them right now that are just in the way. As we do have some touching going on, and oh no, there goes Emerson. I did not want to see Emerson have a bad finish today, as he does go hard into the wall. And again, these drivers right here that just cannot keep speed aren't getting into any trouble at all. As there is an issue with Martinez, I believe that's 22, slowing down considerably. And it looks like for the most part, no, nothing crazy going on. As we take a look at the issue that was caused by Mayflower Racing. As we take a look, we see 4 wide going on, and that is because of the 51 and 15. They just cannot keep speed, and right there, the 33, 14 and 42 green just touch and then slide down because nowhere to go, and just taps into the 84 of Emerson. Definitely didn't want to see this. I wanted to see Emerson get a good finish. But it looks like probably day is done, as he just hard hit into the back of the wall. That is just not what he wanted to see. It's definitely not what I wanted to see either. As we take a look at the look, he just gets touched and hard into that wall. At least he can drive away, so we know there's no issues with him as a driver. No driver issues. But yeah, that the 51 of Barker and the 15 of Mayflower Racing just is not they're just not able to keep speed. As we fast forward, try to get back to live. So we will see if they're going to keep them or allow them to keep racing. I think they are, but we will definitely have to see, as we are on the last lap of this caution flag. We still have a couple of seconds still behind, as we just see the 6 is running first place. Looks like Vega in the 3, or 88 is right behind him. But I think where we want to stay is right here with the 51 and 15. Yeah, 3 definitely can keep speed, as we see him battling it out, trying to get a lap back. We will see if some of these cars are going to start to take matters into their own hands with these 2 cars that definitely are not keeping speed at all. There were involved some issues earlier in the race, which is causing their cars to not be able to keep up, and restarts just are not good, as they cause cars to pack up. I mean, it does look like the 51 may have been able to fix some of the issues, but the 15 is still not able to keep speed, as Haas in this 8 car trying to get past him. We'll see if a car decides to try to turn one of these guys and end their race, as they're just not able to keep speed. I mean, at least for the most part, most cars have passed the 15. Come up to the 51 of Barker. Yeah, this looks like the 51 one's pit crew was able to at least get him up to speed a little bit, It does look like the 15 still has some work to do, as he is just much slower, even to these cars that are missing their front hoods, who have atrocious aerodynamics, are still not able to keep up. Yeah, but it does look like the 51's pit crew was able to resolve some of the issues that he was having earlier. Still not having the greatest race, but may be able to get a strong finish. As we scroll up to the leaders, is the 6th pitch with his teammate of Adams right behind him, and then Rollins, who's having a very great season, is on their tail right behind him. So his two teammates definitely are not having the greatest race today, but it looks like he again having a good race, as he's actually catching up to Adams in that 23 car very quickly. He may make a run for 3rd place or 2nd place with about half the race remaining. So it has definitely been an eventful race, to say the least. As it does look like he's able to pass the 23 with pretty good ease. With that inside line, it's definitely fast for him. As we take a look at some of the racing going on behind them, looks like they were able to, most cars were able to pass the tandem of Mayflower Racing. There's maybe some engine issues, but for the most part, it looks like for the most cars have the pack has for the most part stretched out, so very few 3-wide racing, a little bit of 2-wide racing, as Rollins is right on the back end of that 6 car. We'll definitely see if they are able to catch up, as that 6 car right now is currently leading in the driver ratings, or driver points for the season, as he has strung together multiple strong finishes. I think he has 2 wins and multiple top 5, top 10s. A very consistent driver, and has definitely been able to stay out of trouble, which is why he is leading, as there have been multiple cars that have had decent finishes, but have fallen in trouble, similar to, I think, Brooks currently has 3, so there is something going on, as we do see heavy damage to the front of Hannah. As we rewind to see what happens here, just as I was saying that, cars were stretching out. It looks like maybe the 31 of Sheets and then the 14 of Gonzalez may get into it here. Yeah, they just try to cut in front of the 24 of Reeves, and the 14 just doesn't realize maybe that Reeves is still there. Nope, he takes Reeves into the wall. And then Sanders, hard hit into the side of Gonzalez, almost turning him. And just Hannah has nowhere to go. Hard into the back of Gonzalez with a 14. Looks like 14 is able to keep going. And then Sanders just trying to keep control of the car, keep it out of the inside wall. It does look like he is going to be able to. And then 16, of course, just heavy damage. So we take a look at the roof cam of he sees it happen, but nowhere to go at all. And just heavy front end damage. Looks like he's able to get going again. He might be able to get back onto. He might be able to get back into the race. It does not look like he has too much engine trouble. Though there's some pack going on here with the 14 who was involved in that issue. But it does look like, for the most part, everybody is good to go. As we actually just fast forward to see where everybody comes out of the pits of this latest caution flag. It has definitely been an extremely eventful race. Did not mess with the I&I file at all. This is just a stock custom track that I downloaded for the night one. I think it was just created, I think, last year. But it was created so that it had multiple grooves here in the racetrack, so that there can be cars driving and being able to drive multiple lines. So, which has actually shown extremely well here, is we've seen cars take multiple lines. I think there's 3 or 4 lines that you can take, and we've seen cars in all of them. As the 6 takes the green flag, we do see the 3 right beside him. The 3 is definitely a decent car. He just got stuck behind, or got stuck in a green flag caution. As we just want to watch the 51 just fall back extremely fast and just block people. It looks like Paul in that 4 is going to be the latest victim of his much slower car, and you see his teammate right behind him in that 15 blocking a few other cars as well. Looks like it is Weber, as maybe they are going to, yeah, looks like this group is going to pass him, or pass the 51 of Barker. I know a ton of teams are happy to see Barker and the 51 basically Mayflower Racing have issues. As we do see, actually, the 84 of Emerson is still in this race, so it's definitely good to see, at least for me, it is good to see him still racing. As they see everybody trying to get past this 51 car without causing any issues. And we're definitely going to keep watching him until he falls back. As you can see, a pack is catching up to him. This is definitely very eventful, because in this track, I mean, the turns do, you can go 3 wide in turns, really no issues. Straightaways, you can still go 3 wide, but as soon as you hit that 4 wide, I mean, somebody's getting put into the wall, and if there's somebody beside him when he goes into the wall, there's going to be an issue. It looks like the 51 now, for the most part, is all the way to the back. As you come back to the front, as we see, it looks like Rollins in the 45 has taken the lead actually extremely easily, and it looks like he brought Vega with him in the 88, and then Walker right now is just trying to get a lap back. We see Bishop in front of the 10 with 10 right now. Ward is trying to get past him, as we do see actually the Rollins in that 45. I think he took that turn too fast and ends up bumping into the wall a little bit. So definitely something uncharacteristic of him, taking a turn extremely wide and getting put kind of in the wall. As it is first play. He went from first place to now 4th, maybe 5th or 6th. Definitely not something he wanted to see happen. As that outside line, I mean, it looks like it may be fast for him, but if there's somebody behind or beside him that pushes him, he's going to go into that wall. As we do see, actually, the 3 of Walker Sr. Look, I think he got his lap back, but now is not, but then ended up losing it again. Look at some of these races going on. Looks like for the most part, slow cars of Mayflower Racing are all the way in the back. Though they just have caused so much damage, or so much damage and issues this entire race. As we see the 3 right now, he is a lapped car, but he is a very fast car. I think he had to come in for a green flag pit stop. Some may have maybe had a tire going down. But it looks like he is finally able to get going again. And he's definitely a very fast car, but since he is a lap down, he is just falling, as he's slowly falling back. I think he would be further back though, with so many issues caused by the much slower Mayflower race team. So it looks like as we were scrolling up to them, they'd end up almost touching. So I think that would have made some drivers happy if they had touched. They probably would have put themselves in the walls. We do see a 1, 2, 3 of pitch racing. know he ended up doing a ton of engine upgrades and some aerodynamic upgrades we saw between this car of this week and of last week. So it's definitely interesting to see a team of first, second, and third. I don't think we've ever seen that. I think Mayflower came the closest. We've had like 3 cars in the top 5. So pitch racing, it looks like they're trying to top that, having a 1-2-3 race. I guess similar to that Ford versus Ferrari movie, which is based on the Le Mans race. But this 45 of Rollins is definitely not going to. At least he's going to try his hardest to make sure that this does not happen, as he is definitely one of the fastest cars here today. Though it does look like maybe that 15 car and that 51 may have fixed some of the issues, as it does look like they are able to keep up, at least with the back of the pack here. They're right now just trying to pick up 1 or 2 more positions, because today just has not been a good race for Mayflower Racing, at least for team-wise. Rollins may finish with at least a top 5 position, but the rest of the team looks like they are looking for or struggling to get to a top 30 position. As we see the 3 teammates here in the front, looks like Pitch in that 6 is going to attempt to pass his teammate in that 10 car. I mean, they may look to link up as, the 10 and 23 almost touch each other, and almost ends up spinning that 10 car. That definitely probably would have had one of those guys getting fired if that would have happened. But because of that, the 10 had to slow down, check up to try to keep his 4 wheels pointed straight, and that basically just left his inside line just completely open. So the 45 of Rollins has passed him, as they do catch up to a much slower 19 car, but at least he gets out of the way, unlike some of the other car or much slower cars. At least for the leaders, he got out of the way. The 88 car almost had to touch into him. But it does look like they do have a little while to go before they do catch up to the next one. So we take a look at some of the standings here while we watch these leaders race, see what Rollins in that 45 can do, as these top 4 cars are under a second behind each other, and then of course actually now top 5 is under a second. So it's really anybody's race, as we do have a ton of time remaining. So we take a look at some of the racing going on in the back. We have had a ton of cars end up pulling out of the race because of some of the issues and some of the cars that were not able to keep speed and end up causing some issues. But for the most part, a ton of cars were able to stay out of the crashes and everything. We have 23 cars on the lead lap, which is definitely a very good number with all the crashes that we have had. As we do have had a few cars that are multiple lap downs. We are on lap 68 of 81. Definitely starting to be a longer race, but it looks like for the most part, because all the cars are starting to stretch out, I think we will be able to get a decent number of these laps done. As we take a look at the spectator cam, we do see the sun starting to set, as we see the leaders are basically just pulling away. These top 5 cars are just pulling away from the rest of the pack. They are starting to catch up to some more lap cars. As you can see, just small glimpses of them as that 6 car exits and enters turns, as they are definitely going extremely fast. It's like, what, about 84 in that back stretch, so definitely a very fast track. As we take a look at this front stretch, what kind of speed they can get. It looks like he hits 87 and then slows down. So we take a look at the fast lap. Looks like Rollins in that 45 does have the fastest lap, but he is actually tied with Ward in that 10 car for the fastest lap. And then the 51, which is teammate probably earlier in the race, is right behind them, though. Does not look like, I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to that speed right now. As we take a look at some of the racing, we see Cargo in that 54 and then 7 of Srivastava starting to get caught up. Here we go, 2 teammates. The much slower cars right here that are battling it out. We watch these front cars. We're on lap 72, so we do have under 10 laps to go. And the leaders are have caught up to some lapped cars slash slower cars. Looks like they did catch them on that front stretch, so they were able to pass. At least they might be able to pass them. The 6 car passed them pretty easily. Looks like we see them. Oh, again, Rollins takes that turn way too hard and taps into the wall. No caution flag, but that is definitely going to cause these front cars to pull even further away, as they put 2 lapped cars between them and I guess 4th and 5th. As these 3 cars are just dominating right now. Almost 2 seconds back, or 2 seconds in front of 4th place. So we know Rollins at 45 has one of the fastest cars. Just having maybe some issue. Maybe there is some issues going on with that team's car, as you know, we have seen 2 other members of his team having major issues. We take a look at the 10. We'll see. Not sure if he's going to catch up to any more lapped cars. I mean, we are waning down to a couple of laps. I mean, the 88 car actually is just catching these front 3 cars. Yeah, that 88 is flying. We see a couple of cars look like they may be going into the pits. Which is not something I want to see. As there is only, 4 laps left, 78, 79, 81, I mean, 3 laps left. Pitting, definitely not what I want to see. Yeah, if any of these front couple of cars end up pitting on these last couple of laps, definitely not good. We do see, looks like these cars are going into the pits, the front cars, so I have no idea who's going to win this race. We're definitely going to have to see what's going on here, as everybody decides to pit on the last 3 or 4 laps. So really, this race is anybody's race right now. We'll see if Pitch and his teammates are able to get back onto the track. cars are starting to pass the start and finish line to see if we can trigger just to see where everybody is. I mean, it looks like for the most part it's the green flag pit stops. Everybody stayed for the most part, except 45. Yeah, the 45 Rollins you can see drop back to 10th at least right now, 40 seconds back. We'll see if that holds as they start to cross the finish line. We do see, looks like a 6 still leading, taking the white flag. But yeah, again, looking back there, you see the 88 car is just flying up. The 6 is starting to catch up to some lapped cars as he comes down to get to the checkered flag. The checkered flag is racing. It looks like the 6 will win the race, though that 88 car is completely catching him. Looks like, yeah, the 6, 23, and 10, all one team, finishes first, second, and third. Followed by the 88 of Vega, who towards the end of that race was just an extremely fast car. He was catching up to those front 3 cars extremely fast. And then it was like Tyler finishes 5th. So we can take a look here at the official standings. Yeah, it looks like that pit stop really messed Roland's finish up, as he was running the fifth position. So that end of that race definitely, that end of but the pit stops going at the last 4 laps definitely messed up his finish. As we take a look, looks like Emerson, who led a couple of laps, but ended up getting put into the wall to finishing 13th. And then we had 29 cars finish this race, and then we had 18 cars finish with the finish on the lead lap. So we'll go ahead and save that just in case. So yeah, congratulations to Pitch Racing, the first 1, 2, 3 of the series. So definitely had some very, very strong cars today. So definitely interesting to see them, see what's going on. Pitch winning his 3rd race of the season. Looks like he's going to be pulling away from 2nd place in the career, or in the playoff or playoff standings, most likely securing his position in the playoffs. But definitely interesting race to see. Very eventful race, very fun race. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully have a couple more races. Maybe one more race this weekend. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me. Congratulations, Pitch Racing, and I will see you all